when God speaks. A voice is the sound produced by using vocal organs. Generally speaking, the mechanism for generating the human voice can be subdivided into three parts: the lungs, the vocal folds within the larynx, and the articulators. The lung acts as a pump, and it must produce an adequate airflow and air pressure to vibrate the vocal folds. This air pressure is the fuel for the voice. The vocal folds, also called the vocal cords, are a vibrating valve that chops up the airflow from the lungs into audible pulses that form the laryngeal sound source. The muscles in the larynx adjust the length and tension of the vocal cords to fine-tune pitch and tone. The articulators, which are parts of the vocal tract above the larynx, consist of the tongue, the palate, the cheek, and the lips. Articulate and filter the sound emanating from the larynx, and to some degree can interact with the laryngeal airflow to strengthen it or weaken it as the sound source. The tone of voice may be modulated to suggest emotions such as anger, surprise, or happiness. A voice is not only determined by its sound, but catch this now, also by what is said. Your voice is the vehicle that drives your thoughts out of the garage of your mind into the driveway of your listener's ears. Your voice reveals the depth of your thoughts and desires so that it carries a snapshot of your spirit into the mind of your hearers so that they can see who you are and what you're made of. One of the surest ways to tell what someone is about is to listen to their dominant voice. Dr. Maya Angelou said wisely and succinctly, when someone speaks, listen. Don't just listen to how they sound, but listen to what they're saying. Because whether in sound or substance, a voice is powered and produced by something on the inside. There are some people who are known for the grasping effect of their voices. One particular powerful voice of our generation is that of Bishop T.D. Jakes. Whenever you hear him preach, whenever you hear him read the text of God's word, his voice is so powerful that it literally grabs you from where you are and it pulls you to where he is. A classic voice that's known for its grasping effect is that of the one and only James Earl Jones. There's nothing more powerful than the skillful use of a voice. I mean, what else could arrest the attention of millions of viewers to watch a documentary about the migration of pigeons besides the voice of Morgan Freeman? And it's here in Psalms chapter 29 where David presents another voice that far exceeds that of man. David engages in the difficult task of expounding the voice of God. The first thing he says about when God speaks is, number one, when God speaks, number one, his voice is distinguished in power. His voice is distinguished in power. Verse number 3 says, the voice of the Lord is over the waters. The God of glory thunders, the Lord is over many waters. When I read this text, I thought about something very key in the life of Christ, that Jesus spoke a lot around water. You remember he spoke on one occasion in a ship on the water to amplify his voice. He spoke in a ship to the water to glorify his voice. He spoke walking on the water past the ship to clarify their vision. You remember when he was standing on the seashore and all of his disciples became so many that he jumped in the ship, he bagged up a little bit in the water, and he used the water as an amplifying mechanism so that his voice could be heard to the crowd that had gathered to hear what he had to say. You remember that one time when he was asleep on the ship, him and his disciples, and the winds were contrary. You remember when the winds were boisterous, the waves were clashing and dashing. His disciples got scared, thought it was all over, and they went to him and said, how can you sleep in such a time as this? Jesus stood up, woke up, spoke to the water, and said, peace, be still. You remember in Matthew chapter number 14 when Jesus with his bad self came walking on the water. The text says that he was about to walk past the ship to go to the other side. When his disciples saw him, thought he was a ghost and were afraid. He said, chill out, be not afraid. It is I, be of good cheer. I like when Pastor Oliver preached that text in Matthew chapter number 14 because he raises an interesting point. He says that you got to learn how to trust God's voice when you can't trust your vision. The winds and waves were so boisterous that they couldn't see clearly that it was their Lord. So he was able to speak to quiet their fears so that what they could see would not supersede what he said. But if I could add one more thing to that, my question would be, how is it that if Jesus was far enough from the boat for Peter to get out the boat to walk to him, how is it that in the midst of that storms, you can imagine how it sounded. You can imagine the thunder. You can imagine the lightning. You can imagine the waves jumping up and down. How is it that the voice of Jesus was able to be heard audibly over that of the storm? Perhaps it's because in Psalms 29, the voice of the Lord is over the waters. And just like he was able to speak over that literal storm in Matthew chapter number 14, he's able to speak over the storm that you're enduring in your life right now. Okay, let me bowl down your alley. Somebody came in here tonight right now, and if the truth be told, the ship of your life is in a storm on the waters. The waves are breaking. The waves are dashing. You don't know how you're going to make it out. But you came to the house of God to hear the voice of God speak over your waters. Does anybody want to hear the voice of God tonight speak over the waters over your life? Speak over the waters over your pain. Speak over the waters of your darkness. Okay. You remember them old dating shows where it would be one person on the show, it'd be a host, and it'd be a wall up and 3 people on the other side. 3 mystery people. This person would begin asking a series of questions to judge these 3 mystery candidates to see if they are worthy to go out on a date with them. These people on the other side of the wall are only judged by how they sound and what they say. You seen one of them shows where it'd be a sister on there and a dude will come on there trying to sound all deep voice? Yeah, baby, I mean, I'm just a man trying to work hard. And then she'll say, ooh, I like the way you sound. And she'll end up choosing contestant number 3 because of how he sounded and what he said. Well, I thought it would be fun if tonight we can have our own dating game. Welcome to the dating game. Our contestant tonight is Faith. The 3 mystery people on the other side of the wall is God, Buddha, and Muhammad. Faith, what's the first question you're going to ask to your 3 mystery gods? Well, I need a God to trust in, so the first thing I need is a God with experience. Which one of you were here before it all began? Well, Buddha said, well, since I'm made by hands, I was made by a creature. Muhammad says, I ain't nothing but a man, so I'm dead in the grave. God said, well, since I'm spirit, I was here before it all began. Matter of fact, I spoke it out of nothing. Matter of fact, I was sitting in nowhere, reached back into nothing, and pulled out something. The second question she asks is, Faith says, I travel a lot, and I like to keep it moving. I'm looking for a God who's flexible, accessible, and mobile. Do you fit that description? Buddha says, well, since I'm a statue, if you want to take me anywhere you got to go, you got to put me in your luggage with you. Muhammad says, well, since I'm a man and I'm dead, if you ever want to see me, you got to come to my grave. God says, well, since I'm spirit, I'm everywhere you are. I'm like Visa, everywhere you are. Matter of fact, I'm so much God that I pass myself, leaving myself. I'm so much God that the sun don't shine on me. I'm so much God that I'm everywhere you are. Faith says, if I give you my heart, how would you treat me? Buddha says, well, since I'm just a statue and I don't have a spirit, I really can't do nothing for your heart. Muhammad says, since I'm a dead man, I'm laying in my grave. God said that if you trust in me with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding, I will direct our path. God says that when you're in my hands, nobody can pluck you out. God says that greater is he who's in you than he who's in the world.